Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have an interesting episode for you guys. You definitely want to stick around for, so make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, there's been a lot of uncertainty surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers these days. We know that they've hired a new coach in Darvin Ham, and we have yet to see what he's going to be able to do with this group as a coach, because he's a first-time coach. I think the Lakers, when they decided to hire Darvin Ham, they were kind of looking at what the Boston Celtics were able to capture with the first-year coach Ime Udoka after the Boston Celtics just went to the NBA Finals, and they said, hey, let's roll the dice, let's try something else. Obviously, Frank Vogel wasn't working anymore, and according to reports, it was said that, a lot of the players in the locker room had pretty much tuned them out, and they needed a new voice in the locker room. So you have that. Then you have the situation with Russell Westbrook in the team, right? According to some extensive reports, we're getting mixed signals. And in one case, you hear Darvin Ham, the new head coach, saying that he's talked to Russ, and he's filled him in on what he wants the roles that he wants him to fulfill going into the season. And we've heard other reports that the Lakers are trying to move off of him, right? Because they've been trying to acquire Kyrie Irving, and it seems to have put a strain on the relationship between Russell Westbrook and the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, obviously, when he picked up the last year of his contract, that $47 million salary that he's supposed to pick up on the last year of the deal, we saw him on, I believe it was on Instagram. He was celebrating the fact that he's coming back home or whatever it is. So we have that. Then we have the uncertainty surrounding Anthony Davis and his health. As y'all know, Anthony Davis missed virtually or just over 50% of the games last year. He missed 42 of the of the 80 games. The available 80 games that were played last season, he only played 40 games. So they're looking to see, right now we're looking to see what Anthony Davis is going to be like, but his health is always a question mark because he's a injury-prone type of player. And of course, we have the uncertainty surrounding LeBron James himself, the biggest star on the team, and who some consider to be still the most valuable player on that roster. If they were looking at potential pieces, they would move. Some people will say it's Anthony Davis because of his youth. But of course, we have LeBron James, and we have yet to hear any news on him signing an extension with the Lakers because he's going into his final year with the team. But according to a recent CBSSports.com report that I got this morning, that I actually just read this morning, there may be some good news on the horizon for Laker fans and LeBron James fans. But before we go any further, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura, who's also the sponsor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. Let me get into this article here and just quickly go through what it has to say. So it starts off with the headline: LeBron James free agency. Lakers star unlikely to leave Los Angeles before 2024 per report. It continues on. The Los Angeles Lakers won an NBA title in 2020, but things haven't been smooth since. The Lakers lost in the first round in the playoffs in 2021, and they missed out in the playoffs entirely last season. However, despite the team's recent struggles, star forward LeBron James remained committed to the organization, and it's unlikely to leave any time before 2024, according to Mark Stein. Why 2024, you might ask? That's when LeBron James' son, Bronny, will be eligible to enter the NBA draft. James has previously expressed his desire to play on the same squad as his son. From Stein's sources briefed on the matter stressed that James is extremely happy in Los Angeles despite the Lakers' back-to-back rocky seasons. He and his family, by all accounts, have grown increasingly entrenched in Southern California since James signed with the Lakers in the summer of 2018. The prevailing thinking in the league circles holds that only the chance to place elsewhere along son Bronny James, who will be eligible for the 2024 draft and continues to develop as an NBA prospect, would spur LeBron James for an LA exit. So that's essentially what the article had to say there. And I think a lot of what was written in that article is true, right? I don't think that Mark Stein is just out there saying stuff because he doesn't have anything better to do on a Friday. First of all, let's address the part about him and his family enjoying living in Los Angeles. Listen, I've been to LA only one time in my life, right? I've only been there once. LA is beautiful. Los Angeles is beautiful. Now, I didn't spend a lot of time there. I went there with my family a number of years ago, but I remember when I got there and I got off, we got out of the airport and as we're going towards the town or the city, or whatever you want to call it, I was just like, I remember when I got there and I checked out of the hotel, I was walking around, I'm like, wait a minute, this place is real? Like the weather, I mean, just the vibe and, just the whole vibe that you get. I went around, Staples Center and just that area. You're looking at people's faces. People somehow seem calm. You see a lot of people walking around in flip-flops, at least where I was. I saw a lot of Panameras, then I took the bus tour. And I'm like, is this place real? With the weather, then you go to, I forgot, Universal Studio. And I'm like, this place, and in fact, that day when I went there, we actually saw Carmelo Anthony. Funny enough, Carmelo Anthony was there with his family. And I'm like, this place is unbelievable. So I can totally understand LeBron wanting to, remain in LA. And let me tell you something. One of the biggest knocks on California is this and that with the taxes and all that. When you're in a tax bracket like a LeBron James, all of that is irrelevant. Like LeBron ain't sitting here thinking, man, how am I going to cope with these taxes? And LeBron could live anywhere. He could live in Monte Carlo. He can live in LA. He could live wherever the hell he wants to live. The guy makes more than enough money. So I don't think money is an issue for LeBron James. I don't even think that factors in where most people are talking about, the rent is high or the traffic, whatever it is. Guys like that are not worried about that. So that's the first thing. LA is beautiful. From the time for that one time, I was like, oh my goodness, that place is beautiful. Number two, the factor of his family, right? His wife enjoys living there. And if you're a married man, your wife's sentiments about where you live is going to play a major role in how you feel about things, right? So if she likes to stay there, that's also going to factor in his decision to want to stay there. And finally, the NBA aspect of it, right? If LeBron James does decide to retire, let's say he decides to retire with the Lakers, he will be retiring with one of the most popular sports franchises, forget about in the NBA, in the world. Right? The Lakers are a global brand, and I think when you have his name associated with that brand and vice versa, I just think it boosts his profile, his global profile, right? So I think that helps him there. And I think the Lakers, are one or two moves away from having a good team, right? It's not like as if all hope is lost. I just think that the team was poorly constructed. I think they need to get a little bit younger, and I think they need to get better on defense, especially on the perimeter. But those things can be solved, right? Now, how they're going to be solved, I don't know. I'm not Rob Pelinka. That's not my bloody job. I don't have to figure that out. But I don't think all is lost. And finally, what are the alternatives? Where's he going to go? Number one. And number two, I don't think LeBron will be interested in packing up at this stage of his career and in this stage of his life and moving to another city and going through all the protocols and the entire process of joining a new team, ingratiate himself with the new fan base and all of that stuff for 1 or 2 years. Is that really necessary? But according to that report, they are saying that, he does want to play the final year of his career with his son. So one never knows, right? One never knows. But to me, I think that he probably stays put. So you heard what the article had to say. And the question is, what do you guys think about all of this reporting? What are your thoughts on what I had to say? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And we catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.